Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to make sure you know all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on all new episodes of Wade's World, Boob Windows and Long Boxes, our Hard R movie reviews, and so much more, all completely uncensored. Access starts for as little as $1 a month, full videos when you pledge $3 a month. Check us out at the link in all of our show notes, or just go straight to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Parrish, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Podcast.
Diggity dank.
Hello and welcome back to another week of the Nightwing news. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, it is.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And kind of sort of have a new issue this week, but no. Well, not Nightwing, but Robin. A new episode of Titans. And two old issues. Secret Origins 13 and Teen Titans Spotlight 14. She might have the paper.
Which came out very close together.
Guess a lot of people had the same idea. Alright, so. Alright, what do you want to talk about first? The episode or the issue?
Well, let's talk about the episode, because Dick wasn't really in it, so we might as well get it out of the way.
True.
That being said, I thought it was a good episode.
Better than the last one, I thought.
It definitely was, yeah. I don't know, it was coherent, it had a good story arc. I mean, of course, I really wish we'd get a scene. I mean, this is just, me being a number one Dick fan. Jason, like, not my number one. But when Bruce was like, son, that was so sweet. And then I thought, I wish we'd have one of those with Dick and Bruce.
But yeah, I mean, just, and then like,
which is maybe not fair.
But then like Jason told Scarecrow everything, so does that mean Scarecrow's not long for this world?
Yeah, and you were right that he was. I mean, I guess they're trying to redeem Jason a little bit then, since he's been pretty much kind of being. I mean, because Scarecrow did the drugs, but it's also like he willingly went to work with Scarecrow.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess I was a little bit. I don't know if disappointed is, but I was. I feel like they're kind of downplaying Jason's abilities by having him immediately go to the Scarecrow and say, help me make this, that he was messing with the Scarecrow. Because I thought he was kind of like making it, doing it himself.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess the Scarecrow gave him the formula or whatever, or some hint, and then Jason started trying to make it himself.
Yeah.
But again, we did see that in an episode of the animated series. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you can make fear. You could take away fear." It's like, just do the therapy, Jason.
For real, yeah, therapy. Woohoo!
Although Bruce has said, "Oh, if Leslie gives you a clean bill of health, she'll."
Yeah, actually, the early moment when Bruce was, something's upsetting you and you're not being safe, and I want you to be safe. And go to Leslie before you can go back. I was kind of, whoa, look at Bruce actually parenting. What?
I know, but it's weird. We got like a Leslie who was younger than Bruce.
Yeah. So that was kind of wild.
So yeah, so she wasn't there when his parents died.
No.
Guess we can assume that.
So yeah. But it was, I mean, I didn't really have any of the main Titans in it, but it was a good episode.
Yeah.
And, answered a lot of questions that we had.
And even though he was still in therapy, Bruce was like, no, you can't be Robin anymore.
Oh, yeah, that was my other thing. Bruce. Okay, so you're parenting on the one hand, and then also you go and undo it by kind of being an idiot. Who tells their kid, this thing that I know you really want to do, you can't do it, and now I'm going to leave the country. Who does that? That is such No, that is such an obvious mistake. You tell your kid, I mean, that is just asking for your kid to disobey you. What the heck?
I know. It's like, here, I'm going to take everything away from you. But hey, by the way, stay at home. Well, he offered to take him with him, but he was,
Yeah, but you don't. No, just no. You don't. If you're going to tell him that kind of stuff, then you say, and we're going to London. Hello? Why didn't you say, let's go to London and tell him on your private jet where you can't run away?
There you go.
Or it's like, you don't say, here's this big earth-shattering decision I just made, and now I'm going to leave the country. Do you want to come with me? Oh, you don't? Okay, cool. Bye.
Well, he had to do it. He did it in the alley. It's like, oh, you could still see my parents' blood.
Yeah, so yes, on the one hand, he made a couple good parenting decisions with, you need to go to therapy, admitting you're my son, Jason, blah, blah, blah. But then he was like, you can't be Robin anymore. And by the way, I'm leaving the country. I was like, Bruce.
I'm sorry. Bruce is just a terrible person in this series. An old, terrible person.
Ouch. I mean, he has his moments. And then they kind of undo those moments.
Exactly. His worst moments outweigh all the good ones. Any good ones.
Yeah.
So.
But it was a good Jason episode. And it tied in well with this. Jason had a good week.
Yeah. Robin number 5.
Yeah.
All the Robins.
Jason got a hug. Aww.
A rooftop race with all the Robins.
I mean,
well, Jason even tells Damien, he says, it should tell you something that I'm here. If I can come home, so can you.
Right. I really enjoyed this episode. To be issue. Sorry, we're on to the book. I felt like it was it was predictable, but it was predictable in a way that I like. Kind of how, when we read the Convergence Detective Comics, as soon as Huntress said something about, I don't understand why you haven't started being Batman, I knew, this is going to end with him becoming Batman. So really, even before, as soon as I knew, this is a rooftop race, and as soon as Damien said, yeah, I'll come home if you catch me, I knew he's going to outrun them all. Dick's going to catch him in the end, and Dick's going to let him go. And that's what happened. But I mean, that was what you wanted to have happen. So it was okay.
Yeah, I love how Damien gives Jason a hug and tases him.
I know. I mean, this hug, that was so cute. But yeah, then he tases him, so that was not as cute.
But then, Dick actually catches up with him and gives him a gift.
Yeah, that was cool. Can I just say, I don't remember seeing this. Maybe it's just because of what they were focusing on, but how the underside, the palms of his hands are blue on the Nightwing suit. That's super cool. Have they been doing that in the Nightwing book?
I haven't noticed it. Maybe they have, or maybe that's just the artists.
Yeah, I didn't know it, but it was really noticeable in this issue.
Yeah, no.
And it was super cool.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, if they want, but yeah, Dick gave Damien a Alfred. Well, Alfred got the trapeze bar that Dick used to use with his family and gave it to Dick. It says versus the world.
Yes. Also, I kind of forget. Did Stephanie always wear her mask like that? Was that always how Spoiler did it, or did she sometimes do the domino?
When she first appeared, it was a full face mask. I mean,
okay, kind of like how Cassandra had.
Yeah, I couldn't even see her eyes. I don't think her hair even came out. Yeah.
Well, I will say, good job on Spoiler for wearing a COVID-style mask. Good job. Way to stay safe.
Well, so Jason in this issue.
Well, okay. Good job to you too, Jason. And is that mostly how Tim's... I think that's kind of how it is, but I feel like in Nightwing, Tim's kind of been in shadow, but is that pretty much how his Robin costume's going with the black legs?
Yeah, I believe so at the moment.
Well.
But Yeah, Dick gives Damien the whole speech because Damien's like, I was there when Alfred was killed. Yes, he was. Because Bane said, don't enter Gotham, any of you. And Damien did. So he killed Alfred right in front of him. But Dick says, I'm sorry I wasn't there. He's like, I'm sorry I really wasn't there for you when it happened, because Rick.
I know, yeah, that's when he was Rick.
How many times I ran away from home? For a long time, I was Batman's sidekick or leader of the Titans. It took me a bit of a while to figure out who I was away from that. Damien, why are you telling me this? Tim, Steph, Jason, we were all Robins to Bruce first, but you were my Robin.
Oh.
That's right. And Damien says, you caught me. Oh. I love Dick. Did I? Damien, no, stop. I will catch you. Please don't go. Come on.
I know. That's what I said. You knew because there's no way that Damien could actually outrun.
Yeah.
Could actually outrun Dick, I feel like. Even in his own comic.
Exactly.
That's just not okay.
I love what Jason says to Dick. He hit you over the head with sentiment, didn't he? Dick, wasn't that how he got you? Listen, we all went through this, even Bruce. It's Damien's turn.
Yeah, but it did also kind of crack me up when Damien was saying, Grace is the most experienced. Tim is out of earshot, so I'll say this. He's probably the smartest. I was like, that was a good line of dialogue. That's very Damien.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Joshua Williamson's writing this. When I think they said when James Tynion leaves the main Batman book towards the end of the year, I think Joshua Williamson's taken over. So,
oh, that's cool.
This will be our next Batman writer. Yes,
I know, but Damien hugging Jason. I wish he had Dick had hugged, but of course I didn't want him to tase Dick. So I guess it's good that they.
So at least our next Bat writer seems like he has a handle on the Bat family.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Although I think at the end of Fear State, Bruce is leaving town. I think the main Batman book is still going to follow Bruce, but yeah, I think he's leaving town for a while.
Yeah, I saw. Well, you posted that I think on one of the
on
one of the Facebook groups. Yeah. Oh, okay. He's leaving town. Yeah, I did see that there was stuff about Gotham, but yeah, I wasn't sure what was. Yeah, because I mean, they did make it pretty clear that he wasn't going to stop being Batman, at least. It wasn't like somebody else.
But yeah, remember, Dick and Barbara are going to be running things. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I thought it was really good, Dick and Damien, because part of the thing that makes Dick and Damien so good, I mean, since they are a good contrast, but also since Damien is very Bruce-like, and a lot of writers talk about it, and it's not on the surface. Tim and Bruce seem much more alike, but when you get deep down, Dick and Bruce are very alike. Maybe even more so. I don't know. Maybe more so than Tim and Bruce. I don't think Tim is as stubborn as Bruce or Dick.
No, I don't think.
So that's part of it. And oh yeah, but anyway, I also think one of the things is Dick does a really good job of knowing Damien's a child, but not overtly treating him like a child. And I think that's what makes Damien really respond to Dick so much. Because of course, obviously, that is not the best parental response. I mean, if you find a kid and they say, hey, I'm about to go to a tournament where I'm going to fight to the death. Yes, obviously you should take that kid home and say, no, you're not going to a death tournament. But when that kid is Damien, Dick knows, like you said, that he needs to.
I mean, he's going back.
He needs to go find himself. This is something he needs to do. It's part of his journey.
He's going back to Video Game Island where you get to die 3 times before it sticks.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, that's Lazarus Island, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yes.
So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's been decent. Like I said, that's our next Batman writer, so that kid's pretty soon. End of the year. All right, should we get to the old issues? The classic.
Yes.
All right.
I'm also like, please point out, check out this amazing glass. Do you remember this? This is my Robin Batman Forever glass from McDonald's.
I think I have 1 or 2 of them sitting around here somewhere. Yeah, I have them somewhere. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah. Bad Boys from the 90s.
Yeah, that's probably that movie was like 95. So here, look, Two-Face.
Yes, I think Two-Face might be the ones that were broken. I have 2 Robins, a Batman, and a Riddler. I think the Two-Face ones got broken.
The handle's even a bunch of coins.
That's cool. That's cool. You know what? Also, fun thing. Now that I'm looking at this was made in France.
Oh, he comes from France.
Like, I didn't know they made anything in France other than cheese and wine.
Wow.
I mean, all the manufactured goods come from China nowadays. I didn't know anybody made anything.
Well, that was the 90s.
Well, that's true.
All right.
That is true.
All right. So let's
All right. Which one you want to do first?
Well, Secret Origins number 13. There's 2 stories. We will focus on the Nightwing story.
Yeah, I didn't even read Johnny Thunder.
Yeah, so if anyone's interested, yeah, there's a Johnny Thunder story because they're kind of doing like a revamped Johnny Thunder on Stargirl. So I guess the first story is Nightwing. It's funny because the Nightwing story in this issue. Remember we did those Action Comics stories with Dick?
Yeah, oh yeah, Action Comics Weekly.
Yeah, I bought the collection like digitally. And if you buy, and I guess in the collection, besides the 2 Action Comics Weekly stories, in the beginning, it gives you the Secret Origins issue also.
Oh, nice.
But it's also on DC Universe, where Infinite, where I'm reading it now, kids.
I'm reading it from this floppy copy.
Nice. But yeah, so it's all over digital, and I don't know if you get this for a good price or not, but what basically
I don't think I probably didn't pay that much for it. A couple bucks at the most.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if any of these Secret Origins are it's basically just retelling stuff. It's not like anything new.
Right.
Although I guess this story, Dick's basically going over telling Joey his origin, Jericho his origin while they're in a jungle or something.
Well, they're somewhere on Tamaran, right?
Oh, maybe, yeah, because that creatures look kind of alien. Because
or no, excuse me, the planet Okara.
Yeah,
they're on a different planet.
Well, there's an editor's note. This story takes place during the events depicted in New Teen Titans 16 through 19 or Tales of the New Teen Titans 74 through 77.
Yeah, I remember there was that time when they were it was like one came out at the store and one came out at comic book stores or something like that.
So that will, but yeah, written by, I don't know if I've heard of this guy before, Dan Mishkin and pencil or Eric Larson. But, yeah, oh yeah, he did a bunch of work at more. He was like big on Spider-Man in the early 90s. Then he went on to create Savage Dragon. Yeah. He was one of those guys who went over to Informed Image Comics.
That's cool.
So yeah, well, Dick's like chasing this alien creature, telling Jericho's origin. Man, he looks pretty. I mean, I know he was young, but he looks pretty young swinging on that trapeze in that first,
Well, he says he's 5.
Well, I guess there are some stories where he's like, yeah, I learned to take my first steps on a tightrope. It wasn't exaggerated.
That's right. That's from fear of victory. Yeah, I know. I like that one where the next page where he's doing the flip, and then his dad, let's see if those little muscles of yours can handle it one more time. You bet, Daddy.
Oh yeah, because Dick is 20
That's
because
so cute.
Dick says, "I know where I was 15 years ago tonight," and yeah, and he says, "This is my 5th birthday."
Yep.
Oh, but yeah, his mom tries to catch him and he misses, but Daddy catches him.
That's right.
Mm,
Roll.
he's a Grayson through and through.
And then this one has his parents dying shortly after his 10th birthday.
Yeah, because he says, "Yeah, for the next 5 years, I was part of the act. 2 shows nightly."
Yeah, man, they weren't slouches at Haley's Circus.
Yep. So yeah, and then he thought, what would become of me now? Yeah, see, some origins, that's what all Batman just like swoops down is like almost like immediately after his parents fall. But here it's like an hour later and he overhears Mr. Haley getting threatened.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dick's origin has been,
Oh yeah.
I mean, a little bit with Bruce. His origin has been pretty consistent, but I mean, unlike Jason, of course.
Yeah.
Well, and Tim's origin got kind of messed up in New 52. Did
Yeah.
they kind of like scrap that, or
I
do they,
mean-
or is it just like we don't talk about it?
They haven't talked about it much, but I think they quietly kind of went back to yeah, they're
They
trying.
haven't mentioned Dana, have they? Wasn't that his stepmom's name, Dana?
Yeah, no, they haven't mentioned her.
So anyway, what I was gonna say is, you know, Dick's origin has been pretty consistent, but it's like different people kind of tinker with the details because I don't think it's really.
Yeah.
It's like he was a little kid, his parents were murdered, he knew who did it. Batman takes him in.
Yeah, Batman finds him outside that trailer, and takes him back to the Batcave. Makes him eat rats. No, not yet.
Not in this one, but I do think in some more modern takes, maybe like starting in the 90s and 2000s, they try to more have it be Bruce that first offers to take him in and try to make it make more sense in the world we live in. Because, yeah, I mean, of course, in the 1940s when it happened, the original origin, it was just, yeah, he sees it. He's like, I need to go to the police. Batman says, no, come with me. Okay. And then, like, that's it.
Nothing untoward.
So, I think it was just that. Well, I mean, I think because these characters have become so famous and become so much more of a thing than they could have predicted in the 40s. I mean, these kind of origin stories, they sell really well. I mean, they're going to do another Robin and Batman. Heck, I already pre-ordered it. I'm stoked. So, we want these kinds of tales. So, have to, embroider it a little bit for us.
But we get the scene, swearing the oath over the candle. Remember that scene in 2 weeks, kids. Yeah, then we show, Bruce wins custody. Yeah. Dick becomes his ward and the training. Oh, and I guess this is one of the origins where it's like, here, Dick, here's a costume and the name Robin, It's not like
right, yeah, they don't really.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think it's really until the 90s that they decide to elaborate on that and give him more agency. Because I think, again, people realize, it's maybe not the best idea to portray Bruce as so like, yeah, kid, help me in my crusade against criminals.
But they caught
I mean, the outcome is the same, but it seems to me it makes Bruce look more responsible and like a better parent if he isn't totally like, yeah, kid, here's an outfit, be my sidekick.
Well, again,
kind of like, I'll let you help me with this one, but I don't want you to have this dark life. But Dick's like, no, I love it, and Bruce kind of like, no, he needs this.
Yeah, before we got to the 90s, I think they always painted Bruce as like a more responsible parent. And again, it depends who's writing it. But I think at this point in Titans, they're like, oh, Dick is such a great hero because he was trained by such a great hero and man,
Right. I'm saying about the only thing they don't present Bruce as responsible about is him being like, here's an outfit, kid. Let's go beat up some bad guys.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it makes him look more responsible and more like he really weighed this through and wasn't just, yes, a kid will be helpful to me. That, oh, I'm kind of letting you do it reluctantly. But also, how hilarious is that little panel where he says, I became Bruce when he's bored, and his expression, he's like,
hey man, he got adopted by a billionaire. Wouldn't you be like, yeah?
No, I feel it's like he's lifting weights or something. He's like,
He's lifting imaginary money bags. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Here, let's go out and fight crime and kick Tweedledee and Tweedledum in the head. But I became everything he wanted me to be, a miniature version of himself. And just as Batman seemed to be the true man and Bruce Wayne the sham, I often felt that Dick Grayson was nothing more than a disguise for Robin. I didn't like that. Oh, here we go. Because Dick's like, his parents' murder went unavenged for years, and his hatred for criminals just kept growing until he finally turned some of that hatred in on himself.
I mean, that's a pretty intense way of putting it, but it does kind of help make sense to explain part of why. I mean, the Robins are all just a bit brighter people than Bruce, but one of the big differences is they know who killed their parents.
And I think we're in one of those cycles where Bruce doesn't know who killed them, his parents.
Also, then, can we just admire? So Dick's like, it was great. Bruce freed me from an obsession, and then the Nightwing costume is a tribute to Batman and the practical work we do. And then there's this Robin, floating in the air. But I really think Robin was more my style. Yeah,
legs.
That's right. He was always a swashbuckler at heart. Always wants to be as unclothed as possible.
And that's probably the reason why the highlight of my career was getting together with other teen sidekicks.
That's right.
Well, yeah, look at that in the picture of the original 5. And if you think about it, 3 out of the 5 showed their legs.
It's true.
Him, Donna, and Garth. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense with Garth since the water.
Is a swimmer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Donna's costume looks like Wonder Woman's at the time, so.
Right. But then Donna, by the end of the original Teen Titans, Donna's gone to her red outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's covered up. So she's just letting Gar and Dick rock the legs look.
Well, you figure by that point, most of them covered up their legs. Dick's covered up his legs. Donna's covered up her legs.
Not at first. She was wearing her. Because he was still Robin at the end of the first Titans run. And Donna changed her outfit during the 60s.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, because she's got her other outfit on the end. I love how they have the goons say, holy crud. Yeah, I bet that's what goons say. Even the goons the Titans fight are so respectable.
We're still at a comics code. Come on.
That's true. And it does say approved by the Comics Code Authority on the front.
So what? So they were fighting these goons and this woman got hurt. But we were taking risks and flying free. And somehow there was never any question who the leader was going to be. I love this panel when they show the original 5 and the heads of their mentors above them. But of course, this is post-crisis. So another, weird thing. It's like, oh, well, really? Donna never had Wonder Woman because all history has been altered. So it's like.
Oh, that's why it's blank?
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, why'd they leave Wonder Woman out? That seems weird.
Because it's right after Crisis. Yep. Because they introduced Wonder Woman a lot later. Because, right after Crisis, in the original, they took Batman and Superman completely out of the original Justice League and replaced Wonder Woman with Black Canary. So
confusing.
Yes.
Yeah, then they're also, because in the original Teen Titans, Dick is the one who goes to college first, and then I don't know what the rest of them do. But here it's Wally's going.
But Dick's like, I couldn't admit that it's at this point that me and Batman broke apart. Yeah, it wasn't until
Also, I don't know what college was like in the 80s. I would just like to say, everyone, that please don't be intimidated. Most of your professors are not going to call your name and be like, you're a failure. Get out of my room. Like, what the heck?
So Professor Kristen doesn't give her students the finger.
No, I'm not like, get out of here.
Get out.
That's so rude.
He's probably like, you get out of here, rich man son.
Maybe. And then Bruce looking pretty creepy. He's like yelling so mad the spit's coming out. Dang, dude.
I realized soon enough my big mistake would have been going off to school in the first place. But Bruce, well, he tried to be supportive.
Did he know?
I knew what he's like. I couldn't tell him, but I knew what I should have said to him. I'm not you, Bruce, and I never was. It took a while, but I think we both understand that now. My defiance made us realize I wasn't cut out to be Batman Jr.
Yep.
But yeah, they finally
come to stand for a different kind of heroism. But it's always kind of interesting because, of course, I guess now that Dick left the Titans, they're kind of inching him closer to Batman. And plus, of course, Batman since the 90s has become, the end-all, be-all at DC. Because he's the big moneymaker.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I guess they have been reasonably consistent, at least that, I mean, they don't, I mean, at the basic, they're kind of, on the one hand, they're kind of the same because it's dudes without powers, who don't kill, who are fighting the good fight, using their brains, and martial arts, being detectives. But I think when it really gets down to they stand for a different kind of heroism, meaning how they relate to people and how they team build. That's really where they've kind of developed, and it's good. The kind of core difference that they're a lot alike, but Bruce, even still with teams, even though, I mean, he's, pretty darn close to Superman and Wonder Woman, with some of the others, and even with them, it's still more of a colleagues kind of thing, whereas the big thing with the Titans is a family.
Mm. I love that panel of him saying, "Well, my solo crime fighting career was less than satisfying," as he's like tackling a guy who stole an apple.
I know. Well, also, when was that? Oh, well, I mean, it's like his solo crime fighting career was when he was in college, so that's kind of out of place. But
then the Teen Titans, then the Teen Titans reformed, the new Teen Titans.
That's right.
And boy, did I need to be needed. Raven said that what I wanted to hear, that the world needed us. And as the team
begins, but then I like in this one that they still have him. I mean, this is kind of already retconning that Bruce fired him.
Yeah.
Because now he's just kind of saying, we realized, we wanted different things. And then he passes it on to Jason.
Oh, yeah, he hands him the costume because he's like, since Bruce got a new Robin by then. So they kind of blends the two origins because originally pre-crisis he did give Jason the suit, but post-crisis Bruce had already gone out and gotten himself a new Robin. So
right, yeah.
Time seemed right to establish an identity all my own, one that didn't start with Batman and. So he says, "You people are my home now, Joey. You're my best friends."
Aww.
You and
Dawn. And then I do like this part and think it's really important about Corey, about how they fell in love with her freedom to feel at home with even her strongest emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that's good. And that was good character development, and it does kind of reflect in the character as he was, written in Teen Titans, and as most writers have written him later. I mean, I do think that, of course, then later writers, when they go back and write stories about, Dick as Robin, Teen Titans, they already have him be a bit more at home with his emotions than Bruce. But certainly that was kind of an important development in the 80s when the writers were writing it.
Yeah. So yeah, he talks about Corey, but then I guess this is during the whole arranged marriage thing.
Yeah, well, that happened, and then it kind of took a while to get it resolved.
Yeah. Because Dick thinks she feels like she's slipping away from me, and I'm helpless to stop her. I feel as rudderless as I did when I left college. As for leading the Titans, that's like a joke when I can't keep my own life straight. And I guess Joey signs flying. Fly? Oh, right. You'll never know if you can fly unless you take the risk of falling. I took the hard road because I wanted to. It's become my life. And I'll never take a sure step again if I turn my back on it now.
That's right.
I guess they're throwing him a surprise party.
Heck yeah.
And Joey made an image of one of those alien creatures.
Yeah, some kind of holographic thing.
For Dick's birthday.
Yep.
So they go down the hill to the surprise party. The end.
That's right. Dick aging so slowly. He's pops up in 1940 and he's finally 20 by 1987.
He probably would have aged even slower if he hadn't become Nightwing. Or if he had stayed with Batman, maybe.
Yeah. If he had been the only Robin, he'd still be 16.
When they announced New 52, in 2011, I was all worried. I was like, oh man, are they going to make him go back to being Robin, the only Robin?
That would have been interesting, but I think that's also why they can't ever fully if they had done that, they would have just had to, which they could have done all along. We've talked about this before. You just they did it before. You just publish books at different points along Batman's career simultaneously. People aren't stupid. They can figure it out.
Well, that's part of why New 52, I think, was not quite the success, because they wanted to reboot some characters, but not others, because, Batman was selling too well. They don't want to do a full...
Well, right, and that's the thing is, part of why they came up with other Robins and stuff is, people really like the Bat family. It's got to be one of the reasons that Batman's such a good seller is not just Batman, but also all the people around Batman, including the villains, including his allies. Yeah, you couldn't reboot Jason and Damian and Tim and Barbara and Stephanie out of existence and be like, oh, okay, we're going to wait a few years before they come back. No, that's not practical. You have too many intellectual properties.
And Nightwing was too popular. He really couldn't just
Right. And Red Hood, I imagine, was too popular, and probably Red Robin was too popular too. You don't want to get rid of those characters.
Oh yeah, New 52 started. You got the first issue of Red Hood and the Outlaws. Yeah, so. All right, so should we get the
it's like Pandora's box. You can't stick it back in.
Nope. All right, Teen Titans Spotlight number 14. September 80.
Which it kind of sounds Spotlight like it might be an origin issue, but it's not. It's just a story.
It's actually an original story.
Yep.
It has lots of crime goes down in Gotham at 3:10 in the morning.
Yep.
And again, it's pretty cool here. These silent pages. Yeah, Batman swoops in to try to stop
some nefarious plan.
But some guy gets a lucky shot in from behind, knocks him out. I love how nobody unmasked him or nothing.
They're very honorable.
I guess. Although knowing Bruce, it might be booby trapped. There might be like a taser on that mask or something.
Yeah, probably. I like how in Dick's apartment he has a picture of the Teen Titans.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. What if a random person? What if the maintenance man needs to come in there? I mean, I guess if it's like a publicly available poster,
Yeah.
I mean, it is pretty big.
But you're just like, I'm a big Teen Titans fan.
Please don't look too closely at Nightwing and see how much I resemble him. Yeah, at first, how he has that candle,
he's meditating.
I thought it was in the middle of the night, but it's 2:42 p.m.
I know it's weird. Well, it's hard to tell because like you look out the window, the sky's like red.
It's totally red. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, almost was like sunset. It's like really.
Yeah.
But then Alfred calls and says, "Master Dick, this may sound silly, but I'm concerned. Master Bruce, he's disappeared." But Dick's like, I don't know why you're worried. Sometimes he goes undercover for days. And Alfred's like, yes, indeed. But he told me last night that he would be back before dawn, as he had an important board meeting this morning. And Dick's like, okay, what's Jason think? He's like, he's not here. He's in California to testify in an extradition hearing. Okay, we're letting people en masse testify now. Okay.
I think they've been doing that for a long time in the comics.
Oh yeah, I know in Marvel, like Daredevil set up something for where they set precedent for it, but it's just weird.
I was just reading one from the 50s where Batman testifies, even though he's not only Batman, he's also invisible at the moment. It's hilarious.
I know. So Dick says, okay, Alfred, if I leave now, I'll be in Gotham before dark. He gets there, he gets to the mansion at 7:09.
Yep.
And then here he says, I confess I never read You Can't Go Home Again by Thomas Wolfe, but doesn't he quote that from is that him who quotes it in Lonely Place of Dying?
Maybe.
Unless after this he's like,
Yeah, maybe he went and read it. I mean, he has 2 years to read it.
So yeah, Alfred lets him in. They say, oh, it's great to see you. I'm sorry, this is the reason why. And Dick's like, what kind of case was he on, Alfred? I'm not really sure. He never tells me much about them. You know how he is, Dick. Yeah, I know.
Look how old those computers are. I mean, it's the 80s, so obviously, but it's also like, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Look how old those computers are.
I know. Look at the size of those screens.
Yeah, it's wild.
Hey, look, there's a dinosaur.
Yes, dinosaur.
Yeah, this is Prime Cave. We got dinosaur. We got the giant Joker card. The penny.
We got a penguin. We got the coin.
Yeah.
Quality.
But he's looking at something. Oh, I can't remember where this case from. Alfred, I believe that transpired after Master Jason became Robin. Dick, right?
I mean, duh, you can't expect Bruce to stop collecting trophies.
I know. But Alfred said he mentioned Shadow Hills, so Dick rides out there on the bike.
Thinking about, Batman doesn't need anybody. But
and he's like, I've hardly been back since in Gotham since I've been Nightwing. Wonder if I actually missed the flapping of that yellow cape behind me.
I'd just like to say the way they illustrate it, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's a good idea, but his disco collar is so high, it's like higher than his head, so it almost acts like protective when he's riding his motorcycle.
It's kind of like that during Lonely Place of Dying too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a windbreak.
What he's thinking, and he's like, "What am I doing? Batman can take care of himself," but he's looking for clues, and then you can tell just from the, the footprints, everything. He's like, they got him. He's like, gotta think like Batman. After all, no one knows him better than me. He would have left a clue. So they find,
Here it is.
yeah, he finds a valve, something. Couldn't have fallen out of his utility belt. He had to have left it on purpose. He's like, he's trying to think like Batman. He's like, but it's hard because I've tried for so long not to just be a clone of him. It's like, come on, there are only 3 people he can count on for help. Me, Jason, and Alfred. Jason's on the other side of the continent. Alfred's too old to hit the streets. That leaves me. So he takes the valve back to the lab.
Well, no, he thinks he wants to take it back to the lab, but doesn't he?
But then he's thinking, wait, I Ching, China. Yeah, the Chinese dragon case. Batman used the acid to dissolve our chains. She's like, so where do I start looking? Chinatown? No. I got a hunch. One of the kingpins of the Gotham City underworld is named Drakkar. He's known as the Dragon. But yeah, talking about how Gotham's always been bat happy.
Then he pulls that guy in.
Skates.
Yes.
Guess what he's
He
wearing?
Tries to shake him down.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, Dick's thinking, I hate this because he has to like try to threaten him like Batman would. Talk creep or I'll feed you your teeth. He's like, where did they take him? The graveyard, midnight. Don't hit me, please.
Then he follows him into the subway, and all the people are like, hey, are you Nightwing?
I know. Hey, that Starfire chick that really her bod.
You punch that guy. That's an inappropriate question.
It's like, no, what would it be? What would it be?
What it is not your business.
I know. But yeah, they all get annoyed when he won't talk to them. He's like, what do I do now? Because he loses skates. Gotham Cemetery is clear across town. I'll never make it in time. Because what is it? Midnight, they're going to kill Batman, but it's 11:25. Skate said that big shots would be there. But they figures it's the subway graveyard.
Because just a regular old graveyard would be too public.
Yeah. So he makes his way down there. Makes it by 11:58. Then we see a bunch of gangsters eating in an old subway tunnel. They're auctioning off the right to kill Batman.
Yep.
400,000? 500.
He goes for 500,000. That was a lot of money in 1987.
I guess. And Dick's like, I got 1 minute to figure out what to do. And he's like, the fuse box.
Boom. So it gets plunged into darkness.
Because now they were going to take his mask off and shoot him.
Yep.
So Dick uses the acid to free Batman. Kind of helps him get away. But even still, Batman, his powers of recovery are phenomenal. Not to mention...
Right, because he knows the way out. Oh, yeah, I did like in this one how he talked about how Vic made the infrared lenses, because that's good, too. Because I think it's always good to emphasize that other people can also do techie things, not just Batman.
When he cut ties with Bruce, he really cut ties. He's not using any of his tech or anything, yeah.
I mean, except has he really cut ties with Bruce? No, because he just wanted to save Bruce's butt.
Well, Alfred asked him to. He even says he hasn't been in Gotham since he became Nightwing.
Right.
Yeah, so he helps Batman get away, and then they're standing on that rooftop at the end at 6:07 a.m. And Bruce can never be completely grateful, can he? He's like, yeah, I knew you'd find me, though you did cut it a bit close.
I know. I know. That's probably my one disappointment with this book is a little later they get, which I mean, whatever, a little later they get better, that it does have a nice emotional closure, but only for Dick. Like, Dick actually, because he's kind of like, Bruce, I saved your life. That was the idea. Yeah, like, you're still going to be kind of a jerk about it. He says, no, I've got to try. And so then he says, I'm proud to have been Robin. You're a part of me, Bruce. I don't want to deny it. But then Bruce doesn't say anything. Like, we see the smile at the end. So that's kind of the frustrating part always, that when, one of the bad kids says something really powerful and emotional to Bruce and he doesn't say anything back. You're like, ah.
Well, it's like that Batman 416, like post-crisis when Dick first met Jason. And, at the end, Bruce is all up on the rooftop. He's like, oh, they're too far away to see my smile.
Right, yeah. Bruce, what a kill ya.
But Bruce even takes credit for the save because he's, because Dick's like, a lot of it was luck. And Bruce is like, not luck, skill. I taught you well.
Right. So I do think that, the 80s were kind of a dark time in many ways. And of course, this is when they're first firing Dick and stuff. I do think that they've done a bit better job in more recent years of, because like the Nightwing issue that we just had, everybody reached out and Bruce even called to say, thank you. What?
Well, it's better now too because Dick's in the is allowed to be in the Bat books. Back then in the 80s, they basically kept them in Teen Titans, so they needed to manufacture some of this drama. So it's like this is why he's like never in Batman's book.
Right.
So
although it's also like my kid grew up and moved to a different city. It doesn't mean we hate each other. It just means we don't hang out every day because he doesn't live in my house anymore.
Yeah.
But apparently that's too pedestrian for comic books.
But again, too, in the late 80s, the early 90s, yeah, they painted Bruce as very distant from everybody, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these last two panels. Well, actually, this last page is really prime collar stuff right there. Like that one is higher than his head, and then when he's walking away, you can't even see his head. Quality.
Your collar's too. Bruce, didn't you have anything nice to say to me? Your collar's cool. All right, so all good reading this week. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Bruce is a jerk, but he's always a jerk.
He's not always a jerk.
Well, like this, a lot of times
He smiles at the end. He should just say something.
That's true.
But whatever, I should know better than to expect too much. It's the 80s, after all.
Yeah, men aren't allowed to have emotions, say.
The 80s were a dark time, the era of Reagan. It was... Oof.
At least not Batman's not allowed to have emotions.
Yeah, there's bears there.
All right, so should we talk about...
What's up for next week, Phil?
Well, next week we're going to be covering, and I was just reading these today. I forgot how... I didn't completely forget, but I forgot somewhat how great these were. Nightwing 147 through 150. More Tomasi issues. Yes. Dick versus Two-Face.
Nice.
And then it's so close to the end of the run, I just figured it. So then in 2 weeks, we'll just keep going and do Nightwing 151 through 153 and finish out that first ongoing series. Basically, when everyone thought Bruce was dead and Dick has to come back to Gotham.
That was some powerful stuff.
And get in sword fights with Ra's al Ghul. Oh, yeah, Dick's getting button those. Yes. And in 3 weeks, a Kristen pick, Brave and the Bold, 83 from 1969.
Oh, that must be the Teen Titans one.
Yeah, don't mess with Batman's son. Yeah, no.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right. So, so send your thoughts on all those. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Oh, nah. just to interrupt real quick. Yes, I believe we timed it well this month because I think when we do that Brave and the Bold issue, that's the only issue we have that week. I think that's when the new Nightwing comes out. So
Good job, us.
I know. Not that it was a complete accident or anything. Anyway, so
Total happenstance, but
yes. So send us
good
your
job anyway.
Send us your feedback, and also, hey, go follow us on social media. Nightwing News is on Facebook, Twitter. Find links to all the various social medias for all the Capes and Lunatics shows. Find link to this YouTube channel. You can watch our smiling faces discuss these issues. You can also go follow. There's links to the Patreon, links to merch, links to everything, all in one place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And please remember, support all things Southgate Media Group. Go to southgatemediagroup.com. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Patreon. A bunch of free and paid content on the Patreon. And stay tuned beginning of October for the Southgate Media Group Podcast Marathon 6. You'll be seeing our team and a bunch of other people all over it. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And also, the best way to support the Southgate Media Group, go pick up Pod Life, the book, now in digital and paperback. And again, fans of this show you must pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. Don't listen to this free content unless you pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. Pay us back for 100 and some episodes of Nightwing News by picking up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. I'm just going to keep saying it till you all buy it. Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. I want to see. One week, I want to get on here and see Kristen and her tiaras and her, all her favorite stuff she bought with all the money you paid her. So, yes, go pick again.
Right.
Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder, and when you go pick up Pod Life or Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. See, I said it again. Use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this show, the network, and that man who will always let you see him smile, Rob Master Doom Southgate.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom. Please kick me in the pants. I get so much right. Mark my words.
Rob Southgate, star of Jingle All the Way. He was one of the guys in the toy store. All right.
I'm like, wait, really?
Yeah. If you go watch that movie.
No, what?
Yeah, I don't know if the other guy was, but he was holding like a bucket of balls. Yeah, that's Rob Southgate.
Extra. Does he have a credit on IMDb for that?
He might.
I'm going to have to go look it up right now.
A bunch of us were saying, I guess they're putting out Funko Pops for Jingle All the Way. And I was like, we're all like, where's the Rob Southgate one holding his ball? All right. So, no, kids, I have not been drinking tonight. Thank you for joining us again in 1 week, Nightwing 147 through 150, and in 2 weeks, Nightwing 151 through 153. Like Peter Tomasi. And of course, we'll be discussing the new episodes of Titans. So I would assume Dick would. Oh, yeah, I think Dick is back this week because I think it's the Lady Dick episode. I was reading the description, and I think it is some version of Lady Dick because it says, something about an assassin who has history with Dick and Barbara. So maybe in this version, he encountered her when he was Robin. Hopefully it doesn't get too dark. All right, everyone. Again, come back next time. Same wing time.
Same wing channel.
The Nightwing News.